There are numerous prosthetic devices from different companies that are being successfully used for iris reconstruction. Also, several case reports have already been published, including some with a long-term follow-up, which show satisfactory anatomic and visual outcomes. However, the problem with these devices is that they only offer 3 to 4 basic colors. We want to introduce the very first Irismatch intraocular lens. It is a PMMA aniridia implant that can be sutured to the sclera, but which is custom-made to match the exact color of the iris. The IOL has a diameter of overall 12.5 mm, a 10 mm diaphragm, a 4 mm optic, and a power range from -10 to 45 diopters. To choose the color of the iris print, we are going to use this color chart. The chart is divided into different groups of color. Each group has 5 shades of iris print color and is assigned to one letter. All in all, there are 55 different shades of iris print color, each one with a different code. If, for example, we take this specific color and analyze it on different levels of magnification, you will discover details not previously seen in any of the other iris prosthetic implants available. This patient had a history of penetrating ocular trauma with a partial loss of the iris and a secondary aphakia. Based on our personal experience, these are our recommendations for a perfect match of the Iridis and the Irismatch IOL. Match the iris color of the contralateral eye with the appropriate color of the chart. Hold the chart close to the patient's eye. Use neutral daylight conditions without direct sunlight and avoid neon, halogen and xenon light because they distort your perception of the color. Do not use the slit lamp or a microscope to match the colors. During the surgery, you will have to make an incision that is at least 10 mm wide because of the overall size of the IOL diaphragm. This is the Irismatch intraocular lens in its original case. Notice the different color appearance in the light of the OR microscope. And again, you can see the details in the color print of the IOL. We tie it through the eyelid in both haptics. We use this approach on both sides and then introduce the Irismatch IOL through the incision. After centering the IOL, we fixate the haptics. We bury the sutures by closing the scleral flaps. Then we close the 10 mm incision and thoroughly aspirate the viscoelastic. Finally, we close the conjunctiva. In our first cases, the Irismatch IOL appeared consistently brighter once inside the eye. Nevertheless, the matched Iridis produce a satisfactory aesthetic and anatomic outcome, an opinion that is shared by all of our patients. Because this is a concurrent issue, we recommend to exclude a light reflection effect. The Visante OCT images of the last patient demonstrated a perfectly centered IOL with no tilt. We further recommend always to choose an iris print which is 2 shades of color darker than the one chosen at the preoperative visit. Afterwards, you should order 2 IOL samples, which are 1 and 2 shades darker than the one you have chosen first. Compare them again with the patient's iris color before the final version is ordered. These samples try to duplicate the optical effect of the cornea on the color of the IOL after surgery. These IOL samples belong to this patient. As recommended before, we have compared them again with the iris of the contralateral eye. We recommend to use a horizontal position for final comparison. Again, you should avoid direct light. With this last patient, for example, we selected this Irismatch IOL, which is 2 shades darker than the iris color. The Irismatch IOL system helps to match the individual color and structure. By using multiple enhanced color prints for an optimal color match, we are now able to achieve, for the very first time, a satisfactory anatomic and functional outcome in the hope of further improving our ultimate goal, the complete satisfaction of our patients.